Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am the G. I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Let's talk facts. So we are going to be looking at tonight. We are going to be doing a preview of the Dallas Cowboys game for tomorrow. And I think I'm having some technical difficulties here. Hold on just a second. Okay, I may have to switch that out in the mid of the live, but that's okay. So if you don't catch this tonight, hopefully you'll catch it sometimes tomorrow before the game. And I'll probably repost this sometimes tomorrow in the morning. I'll probably do some edits to it and repost it just so people can watch it. But I want to talk about the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. There are some great storylines in the Cowboys versus the Steelers. And it's not what it used to be. It's not what it used to be. But for those who can remember, the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers were bitter, serious rivals. I mean, I can remember the game. I think it was the 1979 game when it was Pittsburgh beat the Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl 13. And what I'm thinking about, because I am about to mention this Super Bowl, but what really stands out in Super Bowl 13 was a dropped pass. Jackie Smith dropped the pass, which would have beat what seems would have beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, you want to talk about some folk who were crying. Because, I mean, this is a long rivalry. I mean, like I said, the modern day audience don't understand what a rivalry this used to be. I think they've played each other around 30-something times, maybe 33 times. But back in the day, it was a big deal when the Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers played because of all of the history, especially them meeting each other in the Super Bowl, them meeting in the Super Bowl 2 times. Let me see if I can pull it up here. No, let's see. Wrong, but not looking for that. All right, here we go. The historical rivalry. They met Super Bowl 10. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Dallas Cowboys 21-17. Some of you are too young to know, but the Pittsburgh Steelers had an absolute dynasty in the 70s. I mean, they really did. 70s and a little early part of the 80s, but they were juggernauts back in the day. Absolute juggernauts. I think they won 4 Super Bowls. Then the Dallas Cowboys met them again 3 years later. Met them in the Orange Bowl again, and they managed to beat the Dallas Cowboys 35-38. And if you have not seen it, go look at the dropped pass right in the breadbasket of one Jackie Smith. He dropped it, and it changed the course of history. I mean, man, there were many Cowboy fans, boy, they were upset with this whole issue with Jackie Smith. But it just made the rivalry between the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers even more serious because it was Roger the Dodger Staubach against Terry Bradshaw. Man, a lot of people see Terry Bradshaw on the broadcast and they don't realize, man, Terry Bradshaw was nice with it. You know, he tried to downplay himself now, but hey, Terry Bradshaw was nice, man. Terry Bradshaw was nice. And then they met again in Super Bowl 30. Super Bowl 30. This was the last Super Bowl of that Dallas Cowboy dynasty in 1996. January 28th, 1996, they met in Sun Devil Stadium, where the Cowboys beat the Steelers 27-17. And that's when we had Deion Sanders. And, I mean, we just had a team back then. I mean, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman. I mean, we just had we just talk about those three. But this team, the 92, 93, 94, 93, 94, 95, 96 Cowboys. Man, I'll put that 5-year stretch from 92 to 96 up against any team in history. The Cowboys were just that good. And so this Pittsburgh Steelers thing, it used to be a big deal. It's nowhere near the rivalry that it used to be. Some of that has to do with scheduling and just, people have died off to where, the coaching staffs, those historical coaching staffs and those historical players, the Cowboys changed ownership. They got the last Super Bowl under the new ownership, but so many things have changed to where this Pittsburgh Steelers rivalry isn't what it used to be. But I still think it's a good storyline. But when we start digging into the real storylines here, and hold on a second. When we start digging into the real storylines here, and matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do, I got a little mistake at the bottom on the graphics, but I'll start at the bottom as a matter of fact. So the one thing, or the keys to the storylines for this game, is the Cowboys are going to need MVP Dak. The Cowboys need MVP Dak. And the Cowboys have actually been needing MVP Dak. And I kind of gave my theory on why Mike McCarthy has been so conservative with the play calling. I think one of the reasons is he knows he has a young offensive line. I think he's afraid to put Dak Prescott in harm's way. I think he's been trying to test out what exactly does he have in the run game. Not really sure on this stuff with all this pre-snap motion. I don't know. I don't care what you're waiting on. It doesn't make sense that the Cowboys aren't running pick routes, rub routes. I mean, putting guys in motion, all kinds of things. There's no reason they're not doing that. And last year, they didn't start doing that stuff until after the bye week, and that's when Dak Prescott took off. I actually think they need to start that early. They need to get some confidence for this young team. They need to start getting more wins so this team gets a lot more confidence because they're young and they need it so desperately. But the Cowboys, they're going to need MVP Dak. The other thing the Cowboys are going to need is they're going to need to score touchdowns. One thing we know about the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you have been paying attention to them this year, they actually don't score a lot of points. I mean, last week was the most points they've scored all season long. Let's see here. I got some box scores here. And when you look at them on these box scores, I mean, look at this. Last week was their high score. But look at this. 20-10, 13-6, 18-10. I think it's safe to say, if the Dallas Cowboys can score 24 points, they'll beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just need to score 24 points. 24, anything more than 24, it's a wrap. I think they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. But they need to score touchdowns rather than field goals. I think they've gotten a little comfortable with Brandon Aubrey. Little comfortable. We don't get the first down, no big deal. Brandon Aubrey can kick it from the parking lot. He'll make it and we'll be fine. Well, he didn't make it last week. And so I just think that was a sign for the Dallas Cowboys. Even Dak Prescott mentioned it. You know what? We need to stop playing. We know Brandon Aubrey is good, but we don't want to put the game in his hands or on his foot. No, you need to do what you need to do. You need to score touchdowns. Get in there, score some touchdowns. Because if you get these touchdowns, you'll beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't score a lot of points. I mean, it is right there on the box score. And so the next thing they're going to need to do, and actually I got this first. I got a little snafu here on my graphic sheet, but they need to stop Justin Fields. They need to stop Justin Fields. Justin Fields, I'm going to tell y'all something about Justin Fields. I think the Chicago Bears, because of them passing up, if I'm not mistaken, it's Patrick Mahomes that they passed up for Mitchell Trubisky. I think that was the draft that Patrick Mahomes was in. They passed up Patrick Mahomes for Mitchell Trubisky. And so they were afraid to do the same thing again. But I'll be honest with you. I think the Chicago Bears are going to live to regret that mistake. And it's not that I don't think that Caleb Williams is going to be a good quarterback. But I think we need to be careful when we start talking about quarterbacks are going to be great quarterbacks. Great quarterbacks. Because I got a funny feeling the Chicago Bears are already having some buyer's remorse because Jaden Daniels, and you were hearing these whispers during the draft. The scouts were saying Jaden Daniels is better than Caleb Williams. From the Chicago Bears, I wouldn't have even got Jaden Daniels. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'd have kept Justin Fields. The Chicago Bears could have literally set their team up for years with the draft picks that some people would have gave up for Caleb Williams. He'd have changed the draft. He would have changed the draft. And, I know quarterbacks are hard to find, but they could have kept Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields is a quote-unquote great quarterback. But I think with some work, Justin Fields can be a good quarterback. And I think they could have put some pieces around Justin Fields. I mean, Justin Fields is just as he's just as athletic in a sense as Lamar Jackson is. He doesn't have the quickness that Lamar Jackson has. I mean, Lamar Jackson is on a different level when it comes to, the moves that he can make. But when you start talking about straight ahead speed, things like that, hey, man, Justin Fields is nice with it. So the Dallas Cowboys storyline, you're going to have to stop Justin Fields. You're going to have to stop the run again. I mean, you've done it now for a game and a half. We need to see you stop the run again. And there are some key players we're going to talk about in just a moment when we get to the defense. But this is some of the storylines. You're going to have to generate quarterback pressure. And I say you're going to have to generate quarterback pressure, but you may not have to do it as much because the Pittsburgh Steelers, we're going to talk about this in a moment on defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers are very committed to the run. Very committed to the run. So you may not have to generate as much of a pass rush as we may think because I think they're going to run the ball. And this is why I'm saying that, man, the Cowboys are definitely going to have to stop they're going to have to stop Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a part of their running game. We're going to look at that in just a moment. Feed CeeDee Lamb. Feed CeeDee Lamb. I mean, we saw what this got us the week before last. I mean, we're just going to have to admit it is what it is. These wide receivers, they're divas. It just is what it is. And wide receivers, they need to get the ball early. They need it early. And I don't necessarily think they need it often, but they need it early. They need to get worked into the flow of the game. They really do need to get worked into the flow of the game, and especially CeeDee Lamb. So CeeDee Lamb early and often. Next storyline, but you're going to have to get Tolbert, Turpin, and Flournoy involved. And the guy I'm excited about is Flournoy. Flournoy, I believe, is going to be the next Dez Bryant for this team. He will emerge by next season, I believe, as the strong number 2. He will be the bona fide number 2 the Cowboys are looking for. I think Tolbert, there's a chance that Tolbert could be the number 3, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys promoted Flournoy, let go of Jalen Brooks, let go of Jalen Tolbert, and they probably go in the draft and get a top flight wide receiver or get a really good wide receiver. But too far down the line, you got to get Turpin, you got to get Tolbert, and you got to get Flournoy involved. And the reason why you have to get Kevontae Turpin involved is because teams are afraid of Kevontae Turpin. Turpin returned that punt against the Cleveland Browns, and teams are pretty much have made a decision they're not going to punt to him now. They're not going to punt to him. So the only place he's going to be able to get a return is in the kicking game. And the Giants were determined they were just not going to do it. They'd rather let the Cowboys get the ball on the 30. They were not letting Kevontae Turpin get that ball on punt returns and kick returns. So the Cowboys are going to have to learn how to get that speed involved in their game. Next thing is the Giants. Oh, I'm sorry. That's that's something else. So the injury report. We already know about Micah Parsons. He probably won't play for 2 more games. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's got a bad foot. It's a Liz Frank injury. So he will not be playing no time soon. And then Kalen Carson, I'm not sure he's going to be back. I remember Mike McCarthy saying early in the week that he was going to have to make some gigantic steps to be able to get back in the game. So this is going to be an issue again, because I believe that what they will do, even though they don't throw a lot, I think they're going to try to get George Pickens matched up against whoever the cornerback is on the other side of the Dallas Cowboys defense, not named Trevon Diggs. And so that's something that this injury right here is still a big deal. And then we got Marquise Bell, need him back, but I'm not sure. It doesn't look like he's going to be playing again. So let's go to the offensive keys and start breaking some of these things down in depth, because I think there are some very interesting things to talk about as far as these offensive keys. So I talked about it already. CeeDee Lamb early. CeeDee Lamb early. You got to get him involved. He is your best player. He is your best player on defense. So you got to do what you got to do to get him involved. And I think that what the Cowboys are going to have to do, and we're going to talk about this a little bit with the game plan later on, but the Cowboys are going to have to start scheming him open. They have to start scheming him open. What's up, Sports Junkie? Yeah, they're going to have to start scheming CeeDee Lamb open, scheming even Tolbert, scheming Flournoy. You're going to have to, or I think that I would dare say I'll take, in particular, I'll take Ryan Flournoy over whoever the Pittsburgh Steelers' second cornerback is, or third cornerback. I mean, he'll kill who's ever in the slot. So you're going to have to not only get CeeDee Lamb involved early, but you got to get Tolbert and Flournoy in early. You got to get these guys involved. You got to get them involved, because you can't let the Pittsburgh Steelers force you to be one-dimensional. You got to impose your will on them. You have definitely got to impose your will on them. And I forgot, on the injury report, we also have Brandon Cooks. And talking about Flournoy making his debut, Brandon Cooks. And I'm gonna say something here that some people may not agree with. But I've been saying this for the last 4 games. I'm glad the Cowboys are having adversity early. I'm glad they're having it early. Because if you're going to make playoff runs, what typically derails playoff runs is injuries down the stretch. What typically derails playoff runs is a lot of adversity at the end. I would rather have all the adversity, all the injuries, all the nonsense, all this stuff that's swirling around the Dallas Cowboys. You ever notice how that stuff seems to rear its ugly head late? No. I want it now. Give it all to us now, so we can get all the junk out of the system. Work through it. Work out all the kinks. Bring these young players along. And then as we get down towards the stretch, the offensive line will start to hit its stride. The defense seems like it's already starting to hit its stride. Zimmer is realizing who he has and what he needs to do. We've seen it for a game and a half. Let's see what we see tomorrow night. But I want all this adversity early, because I know it's going to pay dividends in the end. So these injuries to Brandon Cooks, this injury to Michael Parsons, this injury to DeMarcus Lawrence, we need to see what Marshawn Kneeland is. That's what we drafted him for. Because I got news for everybody, if you don't realize this or not. This is DeMarcus Lawrence's last ride with the Cowboys. I believe this is his last ride. I will not be surprised. Marshawn Kneeland emerges from this smoke and he looks really good. Why are you going to carry D-Law's contract? Unless his contract, unless they rework it into absolutely nothing. No, DeMarcus Lawrence, I got a feeling DeMarcus Lawrence is done in Dallas after this season. And so, you know what? You need to see what you have. You really do. You need to see what do you have. You need to see what is it that you have in Marshawn Nealon. Because let's see here. So it looks like he just got this contract reworked. But watch this. 2022, he had a $3 million guaranteed signing bonus, prorated $11 million, prorated $15 in 2023, prorated 1045. That's his signing bonus. Guess what 2025 is? It's a void year. I will not be surprised if he is cut for 2025. So you need to see what Marshawn Nealon is. You need to see what he is. You need to see what Flournoy is. Because Jalen Tolbert right now is on the bubble. So is Jalen Brooks. They've been here a while. You got to see what you have in them now. Because if you don't have anything in them now, it's next season. You know what? Go out there and get somebody in free agency or get somebody in the draft. And it's time to cut ties. You have Flournoy. Let him ball. These things that are happening, you need to see what this team looks like without DeMarcus Lawrence, without Marshawn Nealon. I mean, without Micah Parsons. We're signing Micah Parsons, but you still need to see what it looks like. Guess what? We need to see what DeMarion Overshown looks like. We need to see what all these players look like. So with these guys out, now it's time for these other guys to emerge. And so the Cowboys are going to have to really get Tolbert and Flournoy in also early. And this is where I'm really struggling with the Cowboys. You know what? Stop it, Dallas. Stop it. Stop even trying to be a balanced team. You're not even a balanced team. You are a passing team. And the quicker you realize it, the quicker you're going to start beating the brakes off teams, just like you did last year when you finally said, forget this stuff. Enough of this experimental, vanilla, run the ball, can't run the ball, getting beat by teams we shouldn't be getting beat by. You are a passing team. Get creative in the passing game and embrace the fact that you are a passing team. Embrace the passing game and accept the fact that you may not have. I'm so glad we didn't get Devontae Adams, because to me that would have been one of the dumbest moves. You're telling me you couldn't afford Derrick Henry, but you're going to get Devontae Adams and you've already signed CeeDee Lamb? Why? I mean, I know everyone says, yeah, we all want to have two number ones. You think you want two number ones. You think you want two number ones. That's not what you want. You want a number one. You want a bona fide number two. You don't want two number ones complaining for the ball, because that's going to give everybody headaches. Everybody that comes in needs to understand CeeDee Lamb is the alpha dog up in here. We need you to be the bona fide two. When they double him, when they bracket him, whatever they do, we need you to get open. We need you to get open. We might throw you 5 passes today, but we need you to go 5 for 80. We need you to go 5 for 80 and a touchdown. That's what we need. We need you to make it count. When you get it, big play, whatever you need to do. And so they need to embrace this passing game. Just forget all this. I mean, yes, keep teams honest with some running, but open up your run game through your pass game. Make these guys back off so they defend you in the pass. Then you can run on them. But it's going to require that you get more than CeeDee Lamb involved. You got to get CeeDee Lamb. You got to get Tolbert. You got to get Flournoy. You got to get Ferguson. You got to do more things with Lipke. You got weapons. They're just young. They're young. Well, it's time for them to show improve. It's time for them to show improve. Next issue. This was a big conversation. I got videos about the Flournoy thing, and I got a video about Mike McCarthy answering questions from Clarence Hill. And I don't even know what the answer was. He didn't even answer the question when he asked him about the pre-snap motion. And I think Dak Prescott came back this week and gave a more articulate explanation. But Dak, he always knows how to say the right thing. He's not going to try to throw people under the bus. But Mike McCarthy, let's stop the nonsense, bro. The only thing you've had these wide receivers doing is running hitch routes. Comebacks, hitch routes. Whatever you want to call them. They have been running the most generic routes. What are you doing? There's a reason why Dak Prescott right now leading the league in tight window throws. I wonder why that is. Now, some people are saying, well, it's because his wide receivers, they're that terrible other than CeeDee Lamb. I'm not going to say those wide receivers are CeeDee Lamb, but you're not going to tell me either that they're that bad, that they can't get some separation. Because when I look at other teams, they create the separation. They're not asking their wide receiver to line up every single play. Hey, I just need you to beat the guy in front of you. What? No, give me an advantage over the guy in front of me. Let's find the weakness on their defense. Put CeeDee Lamb in motion like the Giants so craftily did, so cleverly did with us. They would line Neighbors up in front of CeeDee Lamb. Pre-snap motion, anybody? Neighbors would run right away from Trayvon Diggs because he wasn't traveling with him. Ran right away from Trayvon Diggs, right over to whoever was on the other side, not named Trayvon Diggs. We got to do some of the same things. And we can even do that with Flournoy. I'm telling you, CeeDee Lamb isn't the only mismatch we can put on that field. The Cowboys are going to have to open up this offense, got to open up that playbook. And then you got to score touchdowns. You score touchdowns, you'll beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. You will beat the Pittsburgh Steelers because unless they are trending up, again, if you look at their box scores, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not scoring a lot of points. They're just not scoring a lot of points. 13-6, anybody? That's 2 field goals. 18-10 against the Falcons. Was that 6 field goals? I don't know if there was a missed extra point or something in there, but I mean, field goals. You're seeing a lot of field goals. Very few touchdowns. So if that is the case, the key to beating the Pittsburgh Steelers is score touchdowns. Score touchdowns. And I promise you, if the Cowboys get 4 touchdowns, game over. Game over. We back home to Detroit. Game over if they score 28 points. There's no way the Pittsburgh Steelers, even against the Cowboys defense, are going to score 28 points. At least they shouldn't. And I'm going to tell you why when we get to the defense. You need about 4 or 5 big plays. You're getting about 2 from what we can notice per game. You're getting about 2 a game. You need about 4 or 5 a game. You need about 4 or 5 big plays. And I don't understand the one thing that the Cowboys are not doing. Kevontae Turpin is this fast. I don't need to play for Kevontae Turpin. I'm drawing it up in the dirt. Hey, Kevontae Turpin, one time every quarter, you're going to run straight down the field. And we're throwing it up. One time a quarter. And if you keep playing with us, we'll get 2 of them in 1 quarter. We want to try and hit you big 1 time a quarter. And we'll pick and choose the 1 quarter we may do 2. Straight down the field. Better yet, deep crossing route. Kevontae Turpin, you fake and run and hit that post, we're just throwing it up. If we get the coverage that we want, I'm throwing it up. You don't even have to worry about it. I'm throwing it up. We need big plays. We know we're not going to get those big plays in the running game. I mean, those jet sweeps, they're fine, but they're not going to yield those type of yards. Let's just be 100% honest. You need big plays. Jake Ferguson, down the middle of the field, anybody? Last year, Dak Prescott led the league almost, if not led the league in throws 20 yards in the air or more. You got to throw the ball. You got to get big plays. You got to come in intentional. No more of this conservative junk, Mike McCarthy. I mean, I just wonder what's going on with Mike McCarthy. Because he's different. I'm just built different. I already know who I'm dealing with when it comes to the Joneses. I don't have a contract going into next year. I'm playing with house money. I'm playing with house money. I'm bringing out all the stops. You going to fire me? You going to fire me like Frank Sinatra. You going to fire me my way because I'm going all out. I'm going all out. I'm using every single piece that I have on that offense. I'm going all out in this thing. I'm pulling out all my best plays. I'm going all out. And I am going to go at every single team. And you know what? It is what it is. I'm taking chances. Because I'm taking chances by not doing it. I mean, you 2-2. You mess around and beat 2-3, which it won't be the end of the world if the Cowboys go 2-3. But you don't want to go 2-3, 2-4, Detroit, 2-5, San Francisco. There are people out there that saying the Cowboys are not even going to win 9 games. This is a joke. I promise you, Cowboy fans, Cowboy haters, the Cowboys will be in double-digit wins. The Cowboys are going to beat teams that people say they're not going to, that people will say they're not supposed to beat. Matter of fact, next week, I'm going to do a video on what will be the Cowboys' remaining record. I promise you, the Cowboys are going to win double-digit wins. They're going to win. So you got to start dictating and going at teams. And I don't understand why Mike McCarthy's not doing this. What are you waiting on for what to get? I know they're not going to fire you mid-season, but it's like everyone has basically come to. It's like a full-blown conclusion that Mike McCarthy's not going to be here next year. This is what everyone's saying. It's on the talk radio. I mean, it's almost like even Jerry Jones is kind of, this is the last hoorah for this whole coaching staff. Well, if this is the last hoorah, I'm going out with a bang. Open up that playbook, man. Start going at these teams. Score some touchdowns. Start looking for these big plays. Pull out all your trick plays. Start going to the Devontae Turpin deep. Do whatever you got to do to win these games, man, and stop playing. And we need MVP Dak. And the only way we're going to get MVP Dak is Mike McCarthy he's going to have to open up that playbook. Put Dak in motion more. Do whatever you need to do to get him away from the pass rush. But we need MVP Dak. And he showed us for a little while against the Giants that he was MVP Dak until the Giants got smart and said, okay, they pulled that old scheme like a boxer does. I'm not going to let you knock my brains out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold you the whole night. That's what the Giants did. They were smart. They played keep away from the Dallas Cowboys. I don't even know if they were concerned about scoring touchdowns. They just played keep away from the Dallas Cowboys. And they basically said, if we're not going to score touchdowns, we'll take them field goals. But at the end of the day, you won't beat us 40-17 or 42-7. You won't beat us like you beat us last year. And that's what they did. That's why the win, people don't understand, the win didn't look as impressive because the Giants had time of possession, 35-24. And Mike Zimmer said, I'll break, but I won't bend. I'll take it. Because if you can play this same game with the Pittsburgh Steelers and hold them to 15 points, you're going to win the game. I mean, you're going to win the game. You just are. And so, more keys to the game. And I don't know if I think I may have forgot to put those on the screen, but I think I did have on screen. So, motion, open up the playbook, score touchdowns, big plays, MVP Dak. And then over here, I'll start at the bottom. Got a little snafu. You got to protect Dak Prescott. I just mentioned it. Man, do what you got to do. You got to roll him out. Put him a little deeper back there at the drops. Get him some quick slants, quick throws. Do what you have to do. Keep him a little honest with the run so you can run a little bit of play action. But do what you need to do. You're going to have to keep Dak Prescott upright. This is a big one for the Cowboys. You got to stay out of third and long. Cowboys have had a lot of third and longs this year. And this has really been stopping them from being that scoring team that they've been in the past or last year. And the reason is it's too many penalties. I don't know what it is with Mike McCarthy and this team. He just can't keep this team disciplined. They're just undisciplined. They make some of the most boneheaded penalties. false starts, holding. You name it. It's just pure dumb stuff. So they're going to have to stay out of third and long. Too many penalties. Even getting Dak sacked for loss, getting stuffed in the backfield for a loss. They were first in third down conversion in 2023. First. They went all the way to 17th. Why? Why are they 17th in third down conversion now? Dumb, boneheaded plays. No discipline. You got to stay out of third and long. Keep yourself in third and short so you don't have to throw 12, 15 yards to get a first down. When you only need 3 or 4 yards for a first down, you can do some trickery to get that. Kevontae Turpin, jet sweep. Rico Dowdle has shown he can get you 3 or 4 yards. Even Zeke can get you 3 or 4 yards. So keep yourself out of third and long against Pittsburgh. Keep yourself in third and short. Because it's strange what the Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers have going on. Because the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have the best line either. As much as they've been running the ball and all these different things, they don't have the best line either on either side. So the Cowboys can do some things against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're just going to have to come out and be intent on doing it. They got to manufacture a run game. No big deal. You got to get Turpin involved on offense. Speed kills. You want to kill Pittsburgh? Put some speed on them. And if you can get Pittsburgh in a situation to where you can open up the game and say, okay, we're up 14-0. Now you're going to take Pittsburgh out of their game. Because when you go to the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to show you something about Pittsburgh that's insane. But when we talk about the defensive side of the ball, what the Cowboys are going to need, they're going to need Mozzie Smith of last week. They are definitely going to need the Mozzie Smith of last week. Mozzie was an absolute beast last week. He was an absolute beast. He was terrorizing the Giants. And he needs to do the same thing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Overshown needs to spy out Justin Fields. I don't know. They didn't do it against Lamar Jackson, it don't seem. They kind of kept pursuit of Daniel Jones. But you definitely better keep your eyes on Justin Fields. People do not understand. Justin Fields is an absolute beast as a running quarterback. He really is. So you're going to have to keep your eyes on him. He hasn't been killing it this year, but he'll mess around with the Cowboys and have a huge game. But the one thing about Fields, he's going to give you an opportunity. He's going to give you an opportunity at some turnovers. Force Fields to beat you passing. It's the best thing you can do. He will give you an opportunity, whether it's dropping back, whether it's fumbling the ball, him dropping back, throwing an interception. He is going to give you an opportunity. Force him to turn the ball over. He's fumbled 4 times this year. 4 times. 4 times. He's lost one of them, but he's fumbled 4 times. So that tells us something. He'll give you the opportunity to get that turnover. And also, there's something else here that's really strange about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, you would think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are absolutely killing it out there on the field. You would literally think they're killing it. Let me see. I think here, when you look at them on the run, I want to make sure I get this stat right. They are running for 128 yards. I'll show you my notes. No big deal. 128.5 yards per game. They're only running for 3.7 yards a carry. What this is telling you, it's not that they're killing teams with just crazy runs. Y'all hold on a second. I know I don't went 0 dark 30. Hold on a second. it's not that they're killing teams with a mad run game. They stay at it. They stay at it even when they're not getting a lot of yards. They stay at the run game. And they basically try to wear a team down. But the way you stop them from wearing you down, you get up on them. You get up on them. And that's what, I think if you look at the Colts game, that's what the Colts were able to do. The Colts got up on them. And so what the Colts forced them to do is, they turned Justin Fields. They basically had to put the game in Justin Fields' hands. Justin Fields in that game. Look at this. Justin Fields, he went crazy. 22 for 34, 312 yards, 1 TD, 10 carries, 55 yards, 2 TDs. But guess what? They lost the game. They lost the game. That's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you want. But when you think about that in the grand scheme of things, let's look at what let's see here. Let's look at what they did. See, you can tell by looking at this box score that the Colts were able to take them away from what they do and how they had been beating teams. They made them have to score. Look at this. Rushing. Justin Fields, 10 for 55. Look at this. Cordell Patterson, 6 for 43. Anyone? Najee Harris, 13 for 19. Aaron Shamplin, 1 for 5. This is what you got to do with them. You got to endure the run. And for the Cowboys, if the Cowboys can do what they need to do and get up on them, they can take them out of what they do. They run the ball on teams, and they play really strong defense. They run the ball on teams to where as long as you don't score any points, because if you look at let's look at the game with the Chargers. Let's come down here to rushing. Let's see what we got here. Steelers. There we go. Now, this one here looks a little bit different. Look at this. So, Najee Harris this time, 18 for 70. Cordell Patterson, 4 for 33. But look at this. Justin Fields, 6 for 6. Jaylen Warren, 3 for 5. So you don't see huge yards in there. But if you add it up, they ran the ball 31 times. And they barely, let me do math. Let's do that math in our head. So 103, 109, 114. 114 yards on 33 carries. But it lets you know they stay persistent with the run. They're very persistent. So the Cowboys, that's what they're going to have to endure. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to pound the rock on the Cowboys. And so what the Cowboys need to do is fix it to where it doesn't matter. Because if we get up on you 10-0, 14-3, 20-7, you can do all the running you want to, because now you're going to have to put that ball in the hands of Justin Fields. And we feel good if you do that. Yeah, the Cowboys should feel very confident about winning that game. But it's like I said, if the Cowboys score 28 points, I dare say if they score 24. But 28 points is the magic number. That's what Mike McCarthy needs to put down on his board. What plays do I have that'll get this team 28 points? Because if he scores 28 points, he takes this team out of doing everything they do well. Everything they do well. So the Cowboys, that's the keys for them on defense. Because when you think about it, Justin Fields, he hasn't been just out there killing it. 4 games, 70% passing completion. That's good. But yards, 830, 3 TDs, 1 interception. 33 carries, 145 yards, 3 TDs, 4 fumbles. So as you can see, he's been pretty efficient. But they've also been low scoring games. And the Colts was the first team this year that took them out into the deep water. Got 27 points on them. And by taking them out into the deep water, they changed up the dynamic of the game. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys are going to have to do. Let's look at the box score. This is exactly how you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look at what the Colts did. Look at that first quarter. Pittsburgh 0, Colts 14. Ball game. That was the ball game right there. Because now you take them out of what they do. And then you held them in the first half, 17-3. Ball game. Because to me, I think the threshold for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you get 28 points. They got 27. They can't beat you. They're not built to score more than 20 points. They're not built like that. And so that's why you look at the third quarter. It was 10-17. Look at the fourth quarter. Now watch this. All the Colts needed were 10 points to get to that threshold of 28. They got 27. Even with the Pittsburgh Steelers scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter, it wasn't enough. That's why I say if the Cowboys get 28 points, game over. You got to get up on them early. You just got to get up on them early. And the way you're going to get up on them early is that you have to have some big plays. And so when we think about the third phase of the game here real quick, we don't even have to talk about the third phase of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they got one of the best special teams in the business. Just keep doing what you're doing. Kevontae Turpin, if they'll get you the ball, return it, which I think I think the word is out, bro. The word is out. They're not going to let you get that rock. If they can help it, they're not going to let you get that rock. Just keep doing what you're doing. Brandon Aubrey, you missed one last week. Big deal. You just putting the Cowboys on notice. I need you to score some touchdowns. You'll still be able to depend on me. Score some touchdowns. Brandon Aubrey, be all right. Giants kept the ball from Turpin. Pretty sure the Steelers are too. So the Cowboys got to figure out a way to get this man on offense. And so, my thoughts. I'm just looking at the Cowboys season so differently this year. I mean, in the past, I would let the Cowboys get me all worked up. But I've come to the conclusion, man. If anything, I just started this channel this year, and I'm going to enjoy the football season. I'm not going to get up and down. I'm not going to get too up. I'm not going to get too down. It's a game-by-game basis. Because I really think that's the way the Cowboys got to think. It's game to game. One game at a time. How do we get better every single game? And when you think about these injuries, a lot of people are crying, oh, the Cowboys is despair and blah, blah. No, they're not. This is exactly what you want to happen. If it's going to happen, you want it early. I would much rather Brandon Cooks. I would much rather him not be hurt and be healthy the whole season. But if he's going to be hurt, let's do it at the beginning of the season. Let's go ahead and let Flournoy get his reps in now. So when we get down the stretch, Brandon Cooks does come back in some capacity, we got another weapon. We don't have to let Brandon Cook just out there continuously. No, we got another weapon now. We've got Flournoy where we want him. We got Jalen Tolbert up to speed. We got Lipke worked into the game. We got Marshawn Nealon on defense. We got DeMarion Overshown. Now he's doing even more on defense. This is what you got to do. You got to get guys developed early so they perform late. Rather than, remember what happened last year? A lot of people don't remember what happened last year. I do. Cowboys started kind of dropping like flies down the stretch, and it affected their ability to stop the run. They were already struggling to stop the run, but it really affected their ability. I'm feeling real good. JR8 says, Junior B on the beats. Oh, I do beats too. He says, I just hope these days, shaking my head, Cowboys for life, they still my team. Hey, man, you know what? I'm just embracing it because I just think these are the types of seasons where a team like the Cowboys sneak up on, and I don't even know if you call it sneak. They shock everybody because the thing that is helping them, people think it's hurting them. It's helping them. It's the adversity. The adversity. It's the same thing. I'm a preacher. What good is a faith that can't be tested? When our faith gets tested, it makes us stronger. See, a lot of people didn't understand what Michael Parsons was saying a couple of weeks ago. Michael Parsons said it's about our faith. He said we're being tested. You're doggone right you are. What's inside of you? That's the question. So what we are watching is something that we have not had from the Cowboys. They are being tested by fire. They are being developed right in front of our eyes. It's something that we haven't seen in years. The Cowboys step on the football field typically, and I think this is one of the things that has messed them up. They step on the field and they expect to beat every team, even if the team is better. And they're not stepping on that field like we can beat every team because, we go mano a mano. No, we Dallas Cowboys. We're Dallas Cowboys. We're supposed to win. Oh, by the way, we 7-3 right now. Oh, we 8-4 right now. Oh, this team right here, we're going to knock them off. No big deal. I love what's happening this year. They're getting punched in the face, punched in the mouth, punched in the gut. Because teams have been saying the Cowboys are not tough. You want to know what makes you tough? Adversity. Adversity. Man, I remember as a child, man, you only going to get beat up so many times before you start fighting back. My parents, my mom would say stuff like, you know what, you might beat me up, but you're going to know you've been in a dog fight. That's what's happened to the Cowboys. That's what's got to get developed in the Cowboys. Because what happens to them down the stretch, they get punched in the face and they don't punch back. Well, now they're having to get up off the mat without DeMarcus Lawrence, without Michael Parsons, without Brandon Cooks. Looking around wondering, where's our running game? You're going to have to find it. You're going to have to find it in yourselves. You're going to have to pick yourselves up and be men and get out here and do what you're supposed to do. And we're watching, man, my thoughts, Demarion Overshawn. Oh, man, this dude's a beast. Boy. This man right here has a motor that is crazy. This is a great opportunity. We are going to watch this man develop into exactly what they thought he was going to be last year. Marshawn Nealon. About to see what he made of. I'm glad to get to see what he's made of. It's time to see it. Mozzie Smith. This man has been taking so much criticism. I mean, people have been talking about this guy as a bust, not even giving him an opportunity to develop. People got to understand sometimes, man, just because you're a first-round draft pick, it's not your fault when people pick you in the first round. It's just not your fault. You just might not be ready to be that first round. You need development. Everybody don't step on that field and just come out there and be like, man, I'm a number one draft pick. I'm top 10, whatever, and just come out there and start killing it. You got to give them time. You got to get used to the game. They got to get used to, because see, people don't understand something. Mozzie Smith was in the interior line going against dudes. I was talking to some dudes last week. They were laughing about it, but I meant what I said. That's why I don't watch college football. You get guys like Mozzie Smith, they're good. Man, they out there playing against some dude who don't even plan on playing football past college. This dude out there playing because he can play, but he gonna be an engineer. As soon as he don't even want to play, don't even want to get in the draft. He gonna be an engineer. I mean, he gonna go out and be a lawyer or something like that. They out here tearing up people. Man, think about it. College football is weird, bro. You'll actually have dudes who be in their third and fourth year playing against dudes fresh out of high school. I want you to think about that. Fresh out of high school. Guess what happens when you get to the pros? You playing grown men, bro. Men hit their prime between 25 and 35. Boy, you playing grown men. These dudes stepping in there playing grown men. And certain positions don't adjust as well as others do. Miles Smith's been taking all this criticism. He had a breakout game last week. Need him to do it again. JRB on the beat said, already, bro, I'm going to keep the faith. That's it. I'm going to enjoy this and I'm going to enjoy it. And every time they win, I don't care how ugly it is. It's still a W. They'll get prettier down the line. They'll get prettier down the line. We don't need them pretty right now. We just need to get them. Because we're young and we're developing. And that's what we got to understand. We're young and we're developing. So I don't care how these wins look. Get them. Get them things. I don't care what they look like. You got to get them. So when you get, it helps you to build your confidence. And then they'll get pretty as you go down the line. Because I want y'all to think what's going to happen. I totally believe the Cowboys are going to beat the Steelers tomorrow. But if this team beats the Detroit Lions without Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence and Brandon Cooks, what you think this team going to think they are when them dudes come back? What do you think they're going to think they are? We did this without them? What we going to look like with them? Confidence through the roof. Knowing they can do this. We did it without them. I know we can do it with them. You punch us in the face, we're going to get back up and punch you in the face back. This is what we're watching with the Cowboys. We also got to get Flournoy and Tolbert involved. Got to get them dudes involved. They got to make it their business to get them involved. Because if I'm playing the Dallas Cowboys, for me, I'm going to do what I know until they show me consistency. Here's my plan. We're going to run the ball 45 times. I'm going to run it 45 times down your throat. I'm going to throw it 15 times. That's all I'm going to do. 15 times. I'm going to make every one of them throws count, but I'm going to run it 15 times. I'm going to throw it 15 times, but you better get ready. I'm going to run that ball 45 times until you show me you can stop the run. You know how you stop teams from thinking like that? Get up 14-0. Get up 14-0 on them real fast. Take them right out of that game plan. Take them right out of that game plan. So, got to get Flournoy and Tolbert. Because if you don't, the other part of the plan is simple too. It's the Green Bay used the formula that I said I would have used, but that I didn't understand nobody used before Green Bay. Okay, CeeDee Lamb is your best receiver? Okay, double him, triple him, I don't care. I'll single cover everybody else you have. But you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that ball to CeeDee Lamb. And if I push CeeDee Lamb around enough, I'll do him just like he got done in the first game. He'll be on the sideline crying like a baby. That's what the word is out there on CeeDee Lamb. Tug on him, push him, stop him from getting the ball. He'll take it out on his teammates. He won't take it out on you. See, that's what Dez Bryant was different. You start messing with Dez Bryant, he gonna talk a little noise to the team. But boy, when he get on that field, not Dez. Dez was not going to let you push him around, was not going to let you bully him. Dez was like, bring it on. Bring it on. CeeDee Lamb, he gonna get it. He going to keep on developing. He's getting tested by fire too. Got to keep going. And of course, we got to have MVP Dak Prescott. MVP Dak Prescott. The only way we get an MVP Dak Prescott is we got to get them MVP plays that Mike McCarthy started calling after Game 6. No, McCarthy, we don't need you to wait to Game 6 with Detroit or after the Game 6 with Detroit. We need you to start it down. Start it now. I believe the score is going to be 27-15, somewhere around there. I do think the Cowboys, they're smarter than me, and I'm sure that Mike McCarthy And that whole staff is realizing all we have to do is get 28 points. That's all we have to do is get to 28 points. They get to 28 points, they win. 27 to be just as good. And just keep Pittsburgh to their MO. They've been scoring 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. That's really their average. Keep them at that average. As a matter of fact, break that average. Give them 1 touchdown, 3 field goals. Break that average. Give them 5 field goals. We'll let you get down to the 2. We'll let you get to the red zone. You're just not going to get in. And we're going to depend on our offense to get 27 points. I believe the score will be somewhere around 27-15. And the Cowboys are going to go back to Dallas 3-2. And the bandwagon is going to begin. Because I believe there is no way, no possible way, the Cowboys go 0-4 when they go home. Even if they don't win tomorrow night, which I think they're going to win tomorrow night, book it. There is no way the Cowboys go 0-4. That playoff loss against Green Bay, the loss this year against the Saints, the loss this year against the Ravens, there is no way the Cowboys lose 3 games in a row at home this season and 4 counting last season. Cowboys are going to bring out everything they have in that Detroit game. I promise you. They are going to be playing with a tenacity that is going to be crazy in that Detroit game. They're going to win that game. That's why this game right here, it's very important for the Cowboys to win. Because I know they're going to win the Detroit game, but this is the one they have to get. Because if they get this game, and I know they're going to win the Detroit game, they're going to be 4-2. They got to stay up with the Commanders. Because I'm going to tell you right now, boy, this boy Jaden Daniels, hey, man, this dude Jaden Daniels, a lot of people don't understand. See, this dude Jaden Daniels has played a lot of college football, man. This dude has played a lot of college football. I mean, he's 23. He's played a lot of college football. So he's very experienced. The Cowboys got to win this game because the next 2 games, the Cowboys, I think, they got a first place schedule. So their strength of schedule is pretty tough. I think that the Commanders are somewhere down there in the 20s. Their next game is the Browns. And the Browns are coming to town. I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns, I mean, the football's crazy, man. I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns beat them. But they also got to play the Ravens. So I believe that they will be, by the time the Cowboys see them, they're probably going to be 4-2. I mean, I'm sorry, they'll be 4-2 also. So the Cowboys, they got to keep them in that view. Because I think it's going to come down to the Cowboys and the Commanders at this point, the way the Commanders are looking. I'm not even worried about the Philadelphia Eagles, man. They got Kellen Moore on the other side. I mean, people can tell me anything they want to. Dak Prescott made Kellen Moore look good. And it's showing. I was telling a friend this just a couple of weeks ago. He didn't believe me. Did you see what he did with Justin Herbert? It's strange he didn't last with Justin Herbert, the golden boy, who's still in the league based on potential rather than what he's done. I don't even understand it. Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert, people keep putting them in the top 5, top 10. For what? Potential? Insanity. Kellen Moore was supposed to make Justin Herbert. I can remember Colin Cowherd like yesterday. Oh, man, he did this with Dak Prescott. He's going to turn Justin Herbert, turn him into what? Because we still haven't seen what everybody keep talking about with Justin Herbert. Still hadn't seen it. People keep telling me he top 5 and he ain't posting top 5 numbers, top 5 wins, top 5 playoffs. I don't see nothing top 5 about Justin Herbert other than what everybody's saying. We got Kellen Moore with Jalen Hurts. Anybody knows how Jalen Hurts looking? Jalen Hurts looking pretty bad. He looking pretty bad. And I'm recognizing some of those throws he's making, some of those plays he's turning over, some of them same plays that Dak Prescott was turning over too. Some of them same plays. So people don't understand, man. Dak Prescott is, you can tell me anything you want to. Dak Prescott top 5 in the league. Hands down. Hands down. And so we just got to get Dak to just keep doing what he's doing. And I love what I'm seeing in Dak, man. He got his family now. He got his contract. Don't have to worry about that no more. Dak is playing with a whole nother level of confidence. Dak knows the Cowboys are going to win, and they're going to win big. They're going to win big. I believe that Dak Prescott has in his mind the Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 seasons. I think that's what his mindset is. If it's not this season, it'll be next season. I believe it too. I think the Cowboys are going to make a ferocious run down the stretch, and when they get to them playoffs this time, they're going to be ready. They're not going to let a 9-7 team come in there and beat them. And the way it's been so far with the Cowboys, man, this is one of them seasons to me. It wouldn't even bother me if the Cowboys went on the road the whole way. Just go on the road the whole way. You'd probably be better off. Just go on the road the whole way, be mentally tough, beat down every team on the road, get to the Super Bowl. So, appreciate everybody for coming in. I'm going to do this probably every Saturday night, 11:30, the night before the game, give the game preview. I'll have more stats and things like that as we go on in the future. Probably even have a few replays and things of that nature. That's going to do it for me. If you guys have not, go to my channel. I have a video talking about Stephen A. Smith and his insane take as it applies to Dak Prescott's contract and him comparing himself to Dak Prescott, which is one of the most blasphemous things that a person can do. You're a sports journalist, and let's put asterisks around, parentheses around that. Quotations around that. You're a sports journalist comparing yourself to a professional NFL quarterback. It's insanity. Go watch that video, share it with people. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, share. Hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video on Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.